Hello, everyone, and welcome to our another session where I'm going to share today one very common question get asked by many of our students, especially in our clinical cases when we start our case presentations and students have to deal with various actual cases from the public. And when they see the suffering of those people, and those sufferings, whether they are physical manifestation of simple ailment or serious ailment, or the mental and emotional issues, then many students bring up that question that how we can protect ourselves not getting affected by the suffering of people out in the world. And this is not a one-time issue. This is a very common ongoing issue all the time. And in fact, I will say now teaching in this part of the world for 30 years, I have seen that every year one or two students bring this question. And then many actually after graduation, they also sometime will email me and say that I'm practicing, but I'm not feeling comfortable in continuing my practice because same question they ask. And for that, I thought I always shared this with our student and make them understand that why actually this happened and how we have to prevent that, how we can protect ourselves. But I thought today I will share this on AIS platform, so maybe many others who might be going through such situations can get some benefit from this what I'm going to share if they feel yes, they are also very keen to understand that part. First answer to that is when you are learning medical sciences, whatever modality you talk about, when we come to the pathology part, when you are learning pathologies, and in the pathologies we have to go through the various diseases in different channels. And then when we come to the samprapti part, many times we start feeling that I have this ailment, whether we talk about high blood pressure or we talk about depression or we talk about gut issues, everyone start feeling that whatever the symptoms, pre-symptoms we are talking, it seems I have that. That's a natural way for us to feel that way. But when we talk about Ayurvedic science, because I always have shared that Ayurvedic science is a one modality where various components make it a very complete science for the well-being of our people out in the world. Because here we're not just focusing on the symptom and we try to look at the root cause of the problem, and then we always talk about that how the state of mind play in a huge role in leading to the problems. And then mind and emotional part will always be the issue. And when we are teaching these things, I always have taught that this is what you will experience. That when someone is talking to you about their sufferings, and then when you are taking your case history information from those people, it is natural that you can see whatever we have learned, how much it makes sense now in our practical life out in the community, that whatever ailment we have talked about and whatever the causes we have talked about, they now become the reality. That yes, this is the reason those people are suffering from those problems. And then we start feeling a bit helpless, that because Ayurveda is all about creating that awareness, giving those individuals that power to play a role in their well-being. It is all empowering them, making them understand, taking them out of that fear that they don't need to depending upon one supplement or the other. They have the role to play, and as a practitioner you will become a guide for them, mentor for them. But then you need to always make sure that you follow all those practices, what we learn through our whole course, whether we talk about diploma or advanced diploma courses, or even when we talk about in our degree level courses which we talk about. Now, that part, being a student, sometimes we never give the consideration to that. We feel this might be just another advice, and we get carried away with various our own thoughts. We don't give that much importance that how important it is to look at our diet, how important it is to look at our lifestyle, and then the state of mind issue which we talk about, the suppressed emotions, another thing. And from the very beginning, in the first 8 or 10 weeks of our courses, we give all these tools for our students to start practicing. And the purpose of that is only that while you go out in the market and when you see all these sufferings of the people, you can be the best person in the world to help them, guide them, and help in their ailment by empowering them with all what you have learned. But at the same stage, you have to create a covering around you so that you protect yourself in such a way that not after 4 months you have to sit on that chair where today your client is sitting. And that only is possible if you are able to follow those all regimes what has been shared. And then the other issue comes up, because this whole Ayurvedic learning is all about enhancing awareness. But that awareness of the client will come later on. First, it is our own awareness. And when we are teaching that level of courses, which is only when we talk about traditional Ayurveda, that is where this whole part comes up. When we are trying to learn the shortcuts and the bit more modern way of learning, these things never get talk about. And that is the issue. We always say that, look, Look at our Western medicine, look at other modalities, whatever modality you pick up. Those all people do understand that yes, these are the problems which will be out in the market. People will be suffering from those ailments, and then they know how to fix them by giving them one or the other medicine. Even if you are a Western doctor, your focus is only to give the medicine. Whether it is the oncologist, he or she is going to treat the cancer. And then the same way, if you are a rheumatologist, you are going to treat and you understand, okay, if someone is coming with rheumatoid arthritis, I have to give the methotrexate and other kind of medicine. Same with the diabetes, same with your depression. Either you are a psychologist, psychotherapist, you name it. All these modalities, people do understand that these ailments can happen out in the public, but their role is to give the solution. And I'm saying only, not just for here to make up these things here. In my clinic, I always have people, medical doctor, even specialist, psychotherapist, psychologist, naturopath, nutritionist, dietitian, and yoga practitioners or very high level who come and have these sufferings all the time looking for a solution. And when we try to make them understand that how they have to make the changes in their lifestyle, in their diet, try to give them clear solution for their problem, many of them will be very much interested and start following the program, because they have not come to you, or if I talk about my own situation, they have tried everything out and then they think, okay, let's see what Ayurveda can offer. And when you as a practitioner talk to them and all those things make sense to them, they will understand that there is no solution but to follow this program. But at the same time, many will be there who will feel that I can't follow these, I can't make these changes, I can't commit them. But that's their call. Because we all know, if today they are not interested in following your advice, they might either have to go to the path of deterioration, which they all know anyway, either than the hip replacement or the knee replacement, or living on all the time on antidepressant or other kind of, and then coming to the insulin dependence, and all that issues can come up with various ailments. But the biggest thing is, when you listen to those sufferings, you are naturally going to get affected. And the reason of that is always the case, because when you are going to advise them every day with every client, and you can see that now that whatever we talk about the cause, whether it is your bread, whether it is cheese, whether it is smoothies, whether it is peanut butter, whether it is tomato sauce, whether it is plant-based milk, that they are the cause of their problem, because now you are seeing them practically. And then you remember that yes, this is what we have learned in the class, the causative factors, nidana of the ailment. And then when you are talking in the clinic from morning to evening about these things, then deep down your own churning start, because you have in your breakfast bread and butter. You have today smoothies in the morning. Lunch is waiting for you with the organic salad. And then when we talk about that, how these suppressed emotions and other issues can be the core cause of our problem, you can always see that yes, there are so many issues with me also, and I have never able to dealt with them. And that is where one start thinking that alas, I could have started following the advice given to me in the first 6 or 7 weeks, and I might have made all the changes, and I could have now today lived in a much more balanced life. I would be in a much more stronger position to help these people who are having these sufferings. And that's where the part comes up. And now, when we talk about this issue, many will say that why we are the only one who get affected. Answer is very clear, because from the very first day we talk about that what you are making in a commitment now today to learn, you are learning in a science which has a clear philosophy. And what that means is that whatever you learning, you must implement in your own life first. And when you are able to do that, you are able to create a protective layer around you. You are able to keep yourself more and more stable, so that when you go out in the real world, you will be in a better position, not getting affected. So that is what I would like to share with all of you. Not need to feel disheartened. And second part of that is only those student or practitioner get affected, those who have a bit connection with their conscious. Because when they are coming into these sciences, they make an informed decision that we want to learn, because they have understood that how other modalities are only helping to symptomatic solution of the problem. And when they slowly get into that, but then they have the conscious, they know that yes, what we are talking in the class makes sense, but then they think that okay, I will start following these things when I will open my clinic. But by that time, damage is done. You are not in a position now to do the both things together. That start creating that covering around you and then healing the other. You have to do this process from the very first day. And this way, you will never be in a position to feel affected by the other people's suffering, but you still be in a position to help them. And that is the same thing happen with every science which has a philosophy. And that is what we talk about yoga even. You can see in yoga, we talk about all the time that 8 limbs understanding need to be there. But then what we do is we just try to focus on one component of yoga, asanas, and never look at our diet. We still have those foods which are incompatible to your constitution, incompatible to your state of mind. Then how those things going to heal you deep down? That is why many people who are even to that higher level of yoga practices and international teachers, you can see they also have the sufferings. And one thing is very clear, any one of us can have any ailment. That's not a question, because there are so many other causative factors we talk about in many of our uh, lectures. Deva Vyapya Chikitsa is another part, and the causative factors are also there. So ailment can come to us. But then they also know that they are in a position that they can protect and prevent those many ailments. But because they don't make changes in their life and try to mold their living according to their own needs, that's why the suffering comes up. And the same way you can see the part of the alcohol, right? Many people who are into Ayurveda, many who are into yoga, many who are into meditation, they don't even look at that why I need to give up these mind altering drugs, including alcohol, because they feel this is a part and parcel of my life. Because my parent, grandparent, great grandparent are into these things, so I should be taking them naturally. But they don't think that they have chosen a different path in their life. They have chosen that path for a reason. So, how come you can choose the path and don't follow the principle of that path? How come you can start writing new rules in that science which is thousands of years old and giving us that understanding that in today's world, where we see the suffering every day, new ailments coming up, every day new drugs keep coming, but the problems are still not getting sorted. No oncologist is going to tell you how you have to make the changes in your diet and lifestyle, and why. We all know that at a starting point, why the cancer start, that when your cells lose their intelligence, the mutation process, how it can happen. But no one tried to make any research that how the alcohol, how the drugs, how the all these food items what we talk about and the processed food can play an active role. We do go with the genetics, we talk about epigenetics part, and nowadays which are becoming more and more modern sort of knowledge. But that knowledge we only try to keep up to the books or to the researches. We never see that this need to be part of the public's day-to-day life. When we see those who are governing our countries, whatever country you talk about, those who are the rule maker, lawmaker, when their lunch are coming from these fast food chains, how come we can think that they will ever be able to think that this lunch or dinner, what I have on my table today, is the core cause of many problems? And in the same way, when we have mental sufferings, mental ailment, what we call as, then those people, when they have a separation in their own life, having very young children, 3 year, 4 year, and then within 10 days will have a new partner, how they will ever think that these things are going to be the core cause of many mental health problems? For them, mental health is all about you take antidepressant and you live. But this is not what Ayurveda is. Ayurveda gives you the answers for every ailment, try to help people, try to support people, try to create that awareness. But problem is with us as a practitioner that when we have not looked into these things in our own life, then some people who are a bit conscious, they start feeling a little bit vulnerable. They not able to protect themselves, and then they feel that I'm not going to involved into all these things on a daily basis, and hence they become discouraged. Even though they are so good in their knowledge, because they acquire this whole knowledge with lot of awareness, but then the problem is they don't implement that part on a day-to-day basis in their own life. Yes, I can understand that people will say, I have a busy life, I have kids, I have so many things to do, I also have to run the business. But then one question I always have said to everyone, and I would like to pass on from today, this platform also, that yes, you have all these things, but then you need to learn how to strike the balance. Remember, if tomorrow you won't be there, these things will be still around there. Then who is going to do those things? So do the justice to your family, do justice to yourself, do justice to your business. You need to be in a much more balanced state. And that is what the core cause is of those practitioners who start feeling a little bit vulnerable. Then many ask another question, that how come we see many practitioners who are following Ayurveda, but then when we look at their lifestyle and the diet, they are into all those things what you tell us to protect and prevent and not get indulged into, but they are having big clinics and not getting affected. That is not the case. This is where we talk about what we look at only superficial part of the bigger picture. Deep down you will see they are having so many sufferings, whether it is high blood pressure, whether it is sleep issue, whether it is asthma, and if you indulge a little bit more deeper into them, they will have all these ailments, but they are trying to cover them by taking different kind of drugs or different kind of supplement. And the reason behind that, they think that they need to run in a successful practice, but not look at their own life. But then the problem is the same thing. Na? Those who are coming to us and you are advising them how to protect and prevent those problems, they themselves are suffering from those problems. That's the point of difference. Because the system what we are trying to follow, Ayurvedic science, that gives you the clear idea that you are in a position to prevent many ailments coming to us so easily. And even if the ailment comes up, you have better solution to not let that problem goes much more deep down. And hence, we should be in a position to follow those advice. And the advice is very simple. It cannot be switch on and switch off when I'm in trouble. We have to do all these things from the day first. So when you are coming to learn Ayurveda, you must have very clear understanding and commitment that whatever I'm learning, I need to start following it from the day one. Whether it is daily processing or whether it is looking into the mirror or whether it is doing the tongue scraping or whether it is preventing myself from all the bread and cheese and tomato sauce and peanut butter and smoothies and plant-based milk and all that part. Those mantras you have to chant strongly, deeply, loudly. That is the only one solution. Not being biased, but that's how the part is. I think this is something our public also need to understand. And they must also become now much more clear that if they have the sufferings, they are suffering from various problems, they must make a commitment in their life that I must take action for my well-being. And your well-being is in your hand. And that solution is that you must prevent these items from your day-to-day life. Here and there you can get indulged, but not on a daily basis. But when you are trying to sit on the chair of as a practitioner, these commitments become much more stronger. Stronger you are, then stronger you are in your practice to share these advices. So that is what I will share today, that you don't need to feel discouraged. It will keep happening because condition in the world is not getting better. It is getting worse and worse. And you will be amazed that many people will keep coming in your clinic with the same sort of problem or more deeper problem, but the core cause will be the same what you are learning from the day one. Hence, it will be always in our good interest that we start following those things from the day one, and you will be in a best position to protect yourself. You will be in a best position to create a covering around you so that you don't get affected by the sufferings of the other, but you're still in a position to help them. Thanks, everyone. I hope this will give you some thoughts to take further deep down.